Yep, Independence is a vibe. I'm Travis.
And I'm Chris.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Independence is a vibe, because you know that it is.
Yes, sir.
So as always, we like to throw out a topic, you know what I'm saying, before we get things kicked off like football. So the topic for today is applying lessons from others to your own life. It's kind of interesting, right? You know, I find it interesting for this fact right here. If you think about it, you're not always going to learn things from your parents.
Nope.
Or people in your own household. Sometimes the stuff you learn from other people, it be stuff that'll change your mindset. And yeah, you can learn some bad from other people, but you can also learn some good too.
Yeah.
You know, I learned about a mindset shift from a complete stranger when I was working. And I was helping him with some electronics, and he looked at me. He said, "Hey man, I noticed your legs, and you know I don't want to be weird about this or anything." He said, "But does it ever bother you, you know, with your legs being the way they are?" I said, "Man, sometimes it get next to me, depending on what I'm trying to do, you know." And he said, "Always remember, man, you don't have a disability, you got a different ability."
Mic drop.
Right. Because he was like, you know, if you change your mindset, you know, then you'll change your attitude. And if you change your attitude, you'll change your life. Mm-hmm. I was like,
Mic drop.
For real. And that day I started kind of trying to, you know, work through things and look at things a different way. You know? Sometimes you got to approach life from a different angle.
Yeah, I kind of had the same kind of experience, you know, when I was working retail. I had a customer come up to me and was like, you know, "I see you every day and I admire you, because I got some family members that don't have anything wrong with them and they don't want to do nothing with their life. You know, they expect somebody to give them a handout."
Right.
You know, and it's like, you out here working, you know, and it's like, I admire that. And he was like, "Life is what you make it." So that kind of changed my mindset too. You know, like, just because I'm in a wheelchair don't mean I still can't get out here and contribute, you know?
Right. You know, and that's one thing that I strive to be, is like an active member of my community. That's something that's big to me.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I do have this one problem that sometimes I let things work against me, and I will make excuses. You know, and that's something that lately in my life I've been working on, is just don't make excuses. Just keep working on something until you get it.
Yeah.
You know, you keep working that plan. You keep, you know, doing whatever it is that God showed you to do. Mm-hmm. You know, lately I've been working hard on trying to be more disciplined, because, you know, with me not working, I mean, you wake up every morning, my schedule's pretty much the same. I don't have a boss looking over my shoulder, you know. So I try to, you know, do the same exercises physically that I do every day. You know, some push-ups, lifting a little bit of weights. You know, trying to get that health right and keep it right.
Be your own boss, man.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I try to read my Bible and pray every day. Just being, you know, disciplined, because you mind, body, and spirit. You got to take care of all of it. Mm-hmm. You know, I work on things to have my own business. You know, all of that. Just trying to be more disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, that whole mindset shift.
Yeah.
You know.
But I feel like, you know, we learn everything from strangers, if you think about it. We learn from our parents too, the family, but I feel like majority of things you learn is from strangers. Like TV.
Yeah.
Like if you're in school. Just out in public.
Yeah.
And you're going to pick up on all kind of stuff.
Because you're going to meet people that you don't know, whether they come to you or you go to them, you know. Yeah. And I really feel like if you're a person that's coachable, you know what I'm saying? You somebody that's teachable, your life gonna go far. Mm-hmm. You should never enter a situation as though like you know everything there is to know already about whatever that situation is.
Yeah.
And see, like me, I like to learn new stuff. I do. You know, so I never take the approach like somebody can't tell me something, because they may say something that I never thought about. Mm-hmm. You know, and I love that when somebody tell me something and I never thought about something in a certain way, because that helped my mind to expand.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do every day, is learn something new.
Yeah. Like for me, man, I learned how to shoot pool from a stranger, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I was at the pool hall one day, and I think it was a guy. It was a guy in there. I think he was missing some limbs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw him over there shooting pool. He was good, man. I'm like, man, this dude's good. So he saw me shooting pool. He saw how I was holding the stick,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, man, why don't you try doing it like this? And I tried it. Ever since then, man, everybody be like, man, you must be a sniper.
Don't bet your money on the table unless you got something to lose. Don't bet your money.
And like, man, you a sniper. But yeah, just that, a little tweak from somebody that I didn't even know. Just telling me, do this differently. Changed how I look at shooting pool now. At first I was like, man, I don't want to shoot pool, 'cause I don't know what I'm doing. Now it's like, come on, man.
I haven't played pool that much in my life. I played it a couple of times. Now when I was little, I don't know if you remember the little Fisher Price company that make the children's toys.
Mm-hmm.
They had made like a 3-in-1 pool table. Man, I had one of them.
Okay.
I had one of them, but stuff be different, like when you're a little kid versus when you're grown.
Yeah.
But since I've gotten grown, I might have played pool like once.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's something that I could do as a hobby. Maybe do it more.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to like going bowling more than playing pool though.
Yeah, bowling too.
Yeah, bowling is fun, man. I be losing a lot, but it still be fun.
I learned how to bowl from a stranger too.
For real?
It's like all the sports, man. I learned how to.
So what tip did the stranger gave you for the bowling? Like what did?
Well, I was like kind of putting my chair like at an angle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, why don't you just go straight? And then when you bowl, it's like you kind of twist your arm a little bit. Just
Don't twist your arm.
release slow. Just keep your arm straight.
Cause I know when I bowl, man, I tried like standing straight at the pins, but it seemed like I always throw the ball across my body, and I started paying attention to my arm and try to release it before it goes across my body. But then when I try to release it before it goes across my body, it's like I don't put enough power behind it. But then if I let it go across my body, it's like it'll start off straight and it just careens across the alley, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I definitely need more practice. And then my dad told me try to turn your body at an angle, like kind of turn sideways. I tried it that way too, and I still got the same problem, like just throwing the ball across the,
It took some time, man. The last time we went bowling, man, somebody was bowling for me, but if I would have had time, I would have came early. I would have,
Man, we gonna go bowling again, man. I got some stuff I got to get straight first, but we gonna go bowling again.
I ain't have enough time to come back, but I was coming.
Well, yeah, I saw you. You was coming.
I was coming.
You was coming, man. But yeah, man, it's crazy like the amount of stuff you can learn from a stranger. And then too, with that person just taking that time, even if it's a couple of seconds, just to come over to you and be like, hey, listen, I saw you, doing this and that, because I actually, my wife is the one that taught me to cook, but one of my friends I worked with, his name is Jose, and he was actually the one that started like telling me, giving me little tips and stuff like that, because I was explaining to him that when I cook, like, I'm like, man, like, I be worrying about, moving a pot of boiling water or moving something that, is kind of heavy or something like that. I don't want to splash water or spaghetti sauce all over the kitchen floor.
Right.
And he was the one that told me, he was like, why don't you get a big cup, and when you got to put water in the pot, instead of putting the pot in the sink, put the water in the pot and try to move the whole pot. He was like, take the empty pot, put it on the stove, get you a big cup, fill the big cup up with water, then keep pouring the water in the pot till it fill up. Till you get it where you want, then you can boil the water.
Yeah.
And he was like, when you finish cooking and stuff like that, and like the pot got to cool down, don't try to move it while it's hot. Turn the burner off, slide it to the burner you're not using, and just let it cool down on its own.
Yeah.
Don't rush yourself.
Right.
And I took that into consideration. The next time I cooked it, it worked, and I was like, why didn't I never think of that?
I do that sometimes too. Like if I'm boiling like spaghettis on a pot with like the handles on the side.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of hard for me to roll and kind of hold a pot like this.
Right.
So I just let it cool down some, and then once it's cool, then I'll grab it and roll to the sink to pour it in the strainer.
Man, I used to I had a utility cart, a big one, and I used to leave it in the house, so that like when I'm moving something that's heavy, I would sit it on the utility cart. So like I was boiling, I was boiling some hot dog wieners one time, and I was gonna pour the water out the pot, and the pot I was using, it was pretty big because we was gonna have some people at the house. I was gonna, boil the wieners and stuff. So I took that pot and set it on the utility cart to move it over to the sink. That way I ain't have to worry about burning myself. But my utility cart wound up like breaking down, and then I wound up having to throw it away. And I just never got another one. But that thing was perfect for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but Jose, man, shout out to you if you ever see this. But man, it's like that tip he gave me was perfect. Because I just never thought about like using something smaller to put the water into something bigger. Yeah. That way you're not trying to move it back and forth. Because I used to move pots of water back and forth and splash water everywhere. I made plenty of messes in the kitchen.
Hey, come with the territory, man.
For real. But that's the thing about, being disabled. Sometimes it make you be more creative because you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be creative, man. You're gonna find new ways of doing stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's without a doubt.
For sure. And talk about learning stuff from a stranger. Sometimes you learn something from watching somebody. It may not be anything they ever say to you. You're just watching what they doing. The people have learned stuff from me that way. They was watching me, like when I was working, and they would watch how I would move heavy stuff, and they like, man, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to lift with your leg or your back, man, just slide the box. Like that. Save your body.
Yeah, you think of smart ways to do stuff, man. Like, I don't be trying to pick up no heavy box. I just push it, put it on the floor, and use my chair and push it.
Right.
I ain't finna be trying to hold it and roll.
Work smarter, not harder, huh?
Right.
So, and that's what I'm saying. You can learn a lot of stuff from people that's strangers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you had mentioned off camera about teachers. You know what I'm saying? They strangers when you first start.
Yeah, you basically majority of your life you learn something from a teacher. That's a stranger.
Right. So if that's the case, we all have strangers in our life, because when you start school, the teachers are strangers to you. Now, of course, by the end of school, they're not strangers anymore.
Yeah.
But when you first start, man, they strangers.
Yeah.
The kids that you meet in school, those are strangers until you've been through school enough to where they not strangers anymore.
And you're gonna pick up habits from them that they bringing to school from home. That you gonna pick up on.
Yep. Man, I remember speaking of like learning stuff from the kids that you meet. When I was in elementary, like I always used to like to run, but I was kind of nervous to do it in front of people or whatever.
Yeah.
And this little boy, to this day I don't remember his name, but he came up to me. He said, "You ever tried running on those things?" I'm walking with crutches and stuff, and I was like, no, I never really, tried running and stuff like that. He was like, man, you probably would move really fast because, animals got 4 legs and you got 4 legs. And I guess the logic for him just made sense,
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, so I tried to gallop like a little horse or something like that. And I finally figured a motion that worked. And I was doing it, and he was like, I knew you would be fast. I knew you would be fast.
That's funny.
He said, I got 4 legs. I thank God he ain't never tried to get on my back, though.
Speedy Claxon out here.
Yeah, man. He said, yeah, you got 4 legs. I mean, it makes sense. Like,
yeah, it
So, I mean, hey, we learn from strangers.
Cheetah Young.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Did you learn anything else from some strangers? Or?
Yeah, I mean, my driving teacher was a stranger until, I got to know her a little better. But, I mean, I can say when I was learning how to drive, I was like, I got to use hand controls or whatever.
Right.
So I got to use the hand control, put my hand on that, and my hand on the steering wheel, right?
Right.
So I'm like, man, what if I got to change lanes? How am I going to use the
turn signal?
The turn signal. She was like, that's why if you gotta change lanes, don't wait until the last minute to use a turn signal. Just go ahead.
Because you gotta make an adjustment before you can just.
Yeah. So just go ahead and do it in advance, and then get over when you can.
Man, speaking of driving, right?
Yeah.
I see, like me, I've driven in an SUV before. I've driven in a car, truck, and all of it was a struggle.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I was on like a bicycle or something that had like bicycle handles, like I kept the bike straight in the lane with no struggles to turn.
Yeah.
And all of that, I thought about the steering was really easy. So I'm like, man, I want a motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how they going to teach me to ride a motorcycle because they got to sit behind me and be like, don't do this, do that. Like, you see what I'm saying? I don't know how they going to do that, but I want a motorcycle, though.
Yeah, me too. I want that Spider.
Yeah, that's what I want. That Can-Am Spider. My dad he got a Honda Goldwing. Okay. And he was like, man, when you get straight and get your bike, man, we going to ride. We going everywhere. So, I can't wait to get a bike. Because I feel like it's gonna be easier to operate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a guy on a nice bike. I don't know what kind of bike that was, but that mug was nice. It had to be custom though, man. That mug was super nice.
Man, I seen on Instagram. I seen a lady who was in a wheelchair, and she had this attachment. I think it was a Spider that she had too. She had an attachment that actually picks up the wheelchair and hooks it on the back of the bike. It's like it hooks it onto something. Mm-hmm. Like a frame, and then the frame flips the bike up like this.
Okay.
And she just and it was quick too, cause she got off the bike into her wheelchair, and she went in the store, got whatever she had to get, and she came back, and then she slid out the chair onto the bike, and then she hit the little switch or the little knob or something like that, and the little thing hooked onto the bike. The wheelchair, and it picked the chair up and turned it, and then it hooked it into the frame. And then the whole frame flips the bike up. The chair up into position where she can see behind her, but the chair is strapped securely behind her.
Okay.
And she took off on the bike, and I was just like, oh, I want one.
That's tight.
Yeah, it was nice. I would see if I could find it so I could let you see it, man. It was very nice. I was like, bruh, that is nice.
You got the money, man. You can get anything done.
For real. And they got the technology for it, man. I was like, yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have mine so souped up and.
You trying to go 1,000 miles an hour? Just.
No, I mean like as far as like having my chair, being able to have my chair with me.
Mm-hmm.
Have all kind of like stuff like all kind of futuristic type stuff,
Right. Because I did hear about one guy. I forgot the kind of motorcycle that he had, but he said because he was in a wheelchair, he said he have to have an able-bodied person ride with him, so they can get the chair out of the trunk for him. And I was like, man, that's cool, but that's not real independence though. You got to have.
Yeah, I don't want to have to have nobody with me.
Right, and just like I asked my dad, cause he be rigging up all kind of stuff. He's a mechanic. He be hooking up all kind of stuff. He been doing that since I was a baby.
Yeah.
He built me a bike, like my first two-wheel bike. He built it. You know what I'm saying? Especially made for me.
Okay.
And he was telling me like. I was like, man, but if I get a motorcycle, like, where I'm going to put the crutches? Like, I'm going to have to get, like, a book sack with a metal plate on it and strap the crutches to it and put it on my back, like. And my dad was like, nah. He said, I will make something that sits on the side of the bike, and you just sit your crutches down in there, and then put, like, a strap on them to hold them in place. Mm-hmm. And you can go. He said, oh, we're going to get it figured out.
Kind of like how the Rolls Royce, you ever seen the Rolls Royce, how they got the umbrella inside the door?
Mm-hmm.
You can do something like that with the bike. With the crutches.
That would be
cool. It's like the Rolls Royce, man.
That's smooth right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I want me a bike. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna learn to ride it, but I want me a motorcycle bad. Man, I want a motorcycle bad.
You'll be racing, man.
I ain't trying to race. I just want to be able to go from point A to point Z when I want to go. I ain't got to ask for no rides. I ain't no catching no bus. Just, I want to go, I go.
I'll be doing some pill-outs in the street. Doing donuts.
He said we do pill-outs, man.
With some donuts.
You going to be cutting up, huh? Allegedly. He gonna be in a car if Travis was here in the street.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna be like, who in the world? I'm gonna ride by laughing. Like, look at just look what he did. Nah, man, but you got anything else you want to tell the people?
Nah, man, just nothing else, man. What about you?
I would say, man, you never know what you might learn from a stranger.
Yeah.
You know, so always remain humble, always remain coachable, teachable. You know, and you can insert any words you want to use in there, but
Always be receptive.
you're right, because you never know what you might learn from a stranger.
Yeah.
But also, too, you know, be careful, because I know they got some bad things that some strangers can teach you. So
Yeah,
just be careful.
That's when you gotta have discernment.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So, man, y'all stay prayed up so that discernment be where it need to be. You know what I'm saying? and that's it.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Independence is a Vibe, because you know that it is.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back next week with another video.
Stay tuned.
We out.
Peace.